The Pelicans fall to the San Antonio Spurs 120 to 116 on their opening night at home. What went wrong? What should have we done better? How do you get to overtime and lose? We're going to unpack it all today on this episode of Flock. Ready? So g'day everyone and welcome to Flock, a New Orleans Pelicans podcast. I am your host, Lyle Swithenbank, at Lyle Swithenbank on Twitter, TikTok, Blue Sky, and at Lyle Pels on Instagram. Make sure you go and check us out over there. The Pelicans fall to the San Antonio Spurs 120 to 116 in overtime in front of a rockin' Smoothie King Center. Gosh, what could have been? The Pelicans go in without a rotational center until we discovered Derek Queen was a bit more ready than we thought. Looney out, Missy out. It was always going to be tough when Victor Wembanyama and his gang roll in. And gosh, we nearly did it. So, what did we like? Well, this was not one of those games that we thought was going to be easy. We thought this was probably a scheduled loss. Just given how Wembanyama had absolutely given the business to Anthony Davis in their opening game. We went small to start the game. Sadiq Bey coming in for the injured Misi. So you were sitting there with Sadiq, Zion, Trey Herb, and Jordan Poole. Small ball lineup. We'd hope for lineups like this throughout the journey. You know, Zion at the center. It probably turned into more of Trey doing some of the center-like duties, but then everyone else just matching up as they could. Herb going to Wemby and Zion at times as well. It was defending by committee. Try to stop him, let anyone else beat you. And unfortunately, it's sort of what happened, despite Wemby also having a fantastic game. It was a tale of back and forth, a game of runs. There was plenty of, minuteless or scoreless minutes that the Pelicans sat through, but also for the Spurs as well. There was no real winner until the end. And that, to me, shows a whole heap of improvement from the Pelicans, because there was times, again, where they could have let go of the rope and let the Spurs run away with it. But they stuck with them. You end up in overtime, and you probably have your worst part of the game to finish it. And that, to me, was the real disappointing. And learning to win's a real thing, right? Learning to win is a real thing. So, let's go to the quarter-by-quarter breakdown. The Pelicans started slow. Wemby was looking like a man possessed. He was getting blocks everywhere. You couldn't get anything in the paint. He was just looking like the best player out there. And to be fair, he was. 30 to 27 to finish the first quarter. The Pelicans fight back, start hitting some shots, and moving the ball. What I liked, and this is what the Pelicans did against Memphis, was that they moved the ball and got good looks. The problem is, that stagnates time and again when the other team gets momentum. We sit there trying to solve the puzzle in one move instead of saying, hang on, defend hard and play our offense. What you can't have is, it's my turn, it's your turn, let's just try to score. Let's try to score one-on-one. It doesn't work. We've seen that. We're forcing a square peg into a round hole every time when that offense stops moving. So, second quarter, 31 to 27. We head in to the half, up by one. And there were some stretches of putrid basketball on both sides. But there was also some magnificence, opening possession of the game. Trey wins the tap. Zion posterized Wemby. Oh my gosh, you're out your seat before it even starts. It was just fantastic to see that. I mean, what a start. Then it starts slowing down. You get caught in the mud. Wemby gets a few easy looks. We're trying to work out what we can do to get around this guy. It was not pretty. And then, but what we did was junk up the game. both teams were pretty average at different times, and I think that was something that we could really take pride in, is that defensively, asterisks, we were pretty solid in the half court. What we weren't good at was stopping the ball handler in transition. That's 2 games in a row now, and definitely something we need to recognise. If you are defending the primary ball handler, the person with the ball in their hands, stop the basketball. Wemby's there. He doesn't have the ball. Do you know how many points he can score without the basketball? 0. He may be past the basketball, but your primary responsibility is to stop the transition with the man holding the orange basketball. There's one over my shoulder for reference. That needs to be a point of emphasis. Attacking the ball handler. Make them make plays. Make them feel pressure. Yes, Wembanyama is all-world talent. 100% agree. Yes, you need to put a body on him. Pull off Champagny. Pull off Stephen Castle. Come up on to Devin Vassell or whoever is bringing the ball up. Pressure them. Make them earn the pass. But I digress. Third quarter. Our Achilles heel. 22-25. We lost that. Surprisingly, we went on a 14-0 run. Well, Spurs did. We were at the 0 part of that. But Willie Green, instead of letting it get to 19-0 like he did in the first game, called a timeout. Well, little improvements. This is the one thing that I hate, is letting you guys play through 5 possessions in a row when you keep turning it over. And I get it. It's frustrating. The guys will work out, I don't want to burn a timeout, I'm going to need one later. That's fine. But if you let go of the game there, you're doing yourself a disservice. You're up. Then all of a sudden you're all the way down. And then you've got to fight your way back out. And credit to the Pelicans, they did. They fought their way all the way to overtime, right? They didn't let go of the rope, which we've seen previously, as I've talked about. Instead, they continued to fight and got themselves into a good position. Last quarter, we win that. 27-25. And honestly, there was possession after possession where the Pelicans looked in control. And we're going to get to the box score about the players, so we'll talk about them in a minute. But holistically, the Pelicans controlled that last quarter for the most part. Boneheaded defense is what cost us. There's a play down the stretch. You're up by 2. And you leave, I think it was Castle, hits this big 3. He hadn't shot well, but you just walk away and let him shoot an open 3. 3 beats you. 2 doesn't. 2 takes you to overtime where you end up. We're fortunate that Zion got hacked on the next play and he hit 1 of 2. But you still give them an opportunity then to score. And thankfully they missed and we went off to overtime. But the point remains, recognition of the scoreboard, recognition of who you're playing on, recognition of the moment is what these Pelicans need to know, particularly in the crunch. In that crunch time, the clutch, this is where you need to be aware. And it's the people behind you as well. Call out, is there a screen? If there's no screen, get up on him. Antonio Daniels said it perfectly. No screen, no scheme. It's 1v1. If he gets past you, all power to him. Your guys behind you have to protect you. Get up on him. Because if he misses that layup, we're up by 2 with a possession and it's coming back our way with 12 seconds. Again, one of those things. Head to overtime, lose 13-9. I'm surprised we scored 9 points because we hit 1 of 7. We were bad in overtime. And the reality of it was poor execution. It was rushing. It was turning the ball over. It was lackadaisical defense. You will not win games playing like that when it matters most. That's just the reality of things. Of course, young team, new team, learning each other's strengths and weaknesses. No centers. Yeah, we have to remember in this game you're playing a double big lineup with no centers. You had Derek Queen, who was fantastic. We'd say he's a center, but he's an undersized one. And and Zion playing centre. That was the rotation. Who else was out there? No one. Very proud of the guys. Let's not lose that. Very, very proud of the guys. Disappointing way to lose when you put yourself in a position to win. And we know, we've talked about it on here, you have to win these games when you put yourself in a position to win. I tweeted out, stealing defeat from the jaws of victory, and it was execution that did it. Credit to the Spurs. They held on. Young team as well. Lose Wemby, he fouls out in the overtime, and they step up and go on a run. Can't fault that. You can't fault good execution on the other side. They were better. They won the game. They get to go back to San Antonio with 2 wins under the belt, and we're still looking for one. Boston to visit on Monday night. So, let's have a look at the key stats. We'll continue on, and reminder, all of the stats that I use is from the official NBA app. I don't have any special privileges at any of these other websites that have the stats. Just use the NBA stats. That's fine for me. So, what do we have? San Antonio shot 45% to our 43%. Only one more field goal attempt than us, which was crazy given the amount of second chance points that they got. They were killing us on these offensive rebounds. It felt like they were getting extra shots every time. 2 or 3 attempts until they put it in. They hit 13 threes at 30%. We were 10 of 32. Yeah, 31%. You got to be a little bit better, I think. I think you got to hit more threes. You're not going to win many games hitting 10 threes, I think, as a game. You got Aaron Gordon for the Nuggets get a 50-point game with 10 threes himself. We've got to be better than that, and we're going to break down who was missing them, because there was some wide open ones that we left on the table. Rebounds got smashed, 59 to 45, was always going to happen. The fact that we were in a position to win, and you're getting belted on the boards every possession. You got 7-foot, otherworld point guard in Wemby just absolutely gobbling everything. You had Luke Cornett, who played a great game for them as well, and they were getting rebounds. And we knew going in that was going to be the case. Fast break points, 23 to 19. This is what I talked about before, where you've got a ball handler you score the basket and they're off to the races, or they get a rebound and run. These fast break points killed us. Yes, it was only 4 difference, but they come in spurts. You were letting Devin Vassell hit 3 threes in a row, pulls up hits an open one, gets a rebound, runs, hits another open one in transition. These fast break points are what breaks your back. Of course you can. You can't help all of them, but intensity on hustling back, contesting those fast break points is critical, and that's going to be the success of the Pelicans. That's what it's going to be hinged on. If you are missing shots at the rate that we missed them, 32, so you missed 22 times on long shots. That's 22 attempts at fast break points theoretically. Of course, not all of them will be rebounds that turn into transition, but long shots turn into long rebounds. And typically, that means someone's leaking out. You've got to be aware that if you're not crashing the boards trying to get rebounds, then you're getting back and setting up. Food for thought. 24 assists to 25. Again, we know that we're better when we move the ball. There was a stagnant offense at times, and it showed. And it showed in the assist count. Steals 10 to 6. We created more opportunities. That's good. Blocks 13 to 3. I mean, Wemby had 9. What are you going to do? There's not much you can. We stopped him getting 10. Offensive rebounds 20 to 16. Again, they were crashing the boards. They were putting them back in. Not as bad as I thought, because we had a couple of good ones with a big putback from Zion, which was really tough. Defensive rebounds 39 to 29. You got to finish those possessions off. And points off turnovers 24 to 20. Again, when they turned the ball over, we managed to score. They had a heap of turnovers. How many did they have? The turnovers for them, they had 18. We had 13. 13 turnovers is pretty good for a game that went overtime. But how did you turn it over? Where did you turn it over? Did you get back and stop that fast break? Well, the answer from the stats is no. Disappointing, to say the least. But not disappointing as last year where we just looked crap. This year, we were competitive. Better team won. That was it. They executed, they won. What it should do for these players, though, is leave a bad taste in their mouth. We let that one go. Memphis, we let that one go. Credit to the other team, but you had opportunities to win. And that is the difference between finishing at 6, 5, 4 in the West and finishing at 13th. Couple of these ones. And what I'm hoping, and I hope to the basketball gods that these two games in the beginning aren't the difference between us falling into the play-in or getting into the playoffs or falling out of the play-in altogether. Because that's how close this West is going to be this year. I genuinely think, barring some catastrophic injuries for other teams, it is going to be an absolute rock fight the whole time. So, we'll go to the box score now. For them, their stars, Wemby had 29, 11 and 2, 9 of 13, 9 blocks. I don't know what you even do with that guy. He's incredible. Vassell, 23 points. He had 8 of 19, 6 of 14 threes, and a couple of massive ones that just broke the back. Off the bench, Luke Cornett was good for them, 14 and 12, and 13 and 5 for the rookie Dylan Harper, who fought through a whole heap of foul trouble to then be really critical down the stretch. And, he's going to be a star in this league as well, I think number 2 draft pick. Pretty good team to cut your teeth in, and you're going to be learning from guys like De'Aaron Fox, Devin Vassell, and of course Chris Paul's sitting there who didn't play, but I digress. Chris Paul's gone now. He's back at the Clippers, but he was there last year. My mistake. Play on. Happens to the best of us. For us, Trey Murphy, 24, 10 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 steals, 9 of 18, 3 of 8, 3 of 3. He was a -2, and he did start slow. Again, hit a couple of shots, sort of in and out of the game. Much better than the first game. He was aggressive. He hit shots when he needed to. Did a whole heap of other things. 10 rebounds is great. We needed that gang rebounding. That's what he did. I was happy with Trey in 45 minutes. He battled. And again, there seems to be a hierarchical disconnect at the moment between who is 2IC and who's 3IC. I think they're going to need to work that out sooner rather than later, because you don't want to ice someone. You don't want to ice Jordan Poole if it means that Trey Murphy's shooting all the shots, but you also don't want to ice Trey Murphy, and you still got to feed Zion. So they've all got to eat, but we just got to work that out. Zion, I thought, was fantastic. 36 minutes. Well, it must be the most amount of minutes he's played in 2 years. 27, 10, 7 assists, 3 steals, 8 of 18, 11 of 16 free throws. He had 4 turnovers, which was +6. He's the best player. I can't really fault him. He battled against guys that were 3 times the size and still managed to get have an impact. The rebounding I love. You can see how much his conditioning has improved him, because he's out there longer, he's being able to defend, he's working his behind off, and he's continuing to attack. There's not any of these possessions where he's sort of taken them off, which historically, you'd need to bring him out because he was gassed. He's staying in, and he looked every part of the all-star that we know he is. Sadiq Bey, I thought, was solid. 9 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists. What I really liked is when they put him onto Wemby. I thought that strength, like they did with Jaren Jackson, he was really solid for that. Would have been nice to hit some more shots. He was 3 of 7, but you've got to play within the offense. Herb Jones had probably his worst game, I'd say, that we've seen in a long time. He had 0 points. Defensively, he was solid. Normal Herb Jones. Offensively, he was forcing it. They were letting him shoot threes. -20. When have we seen Herb Jones be a -20? I couldn't tell you. 0 of 8 field goals, 0 of 5 from 3. They were daring him to take him. And he rewarded them by missing a whole heap. And I know Herb would be pretty disappointed with that. He played 28 minutes. If you're in a game this close, there's no... How is Herb Jones not playing? And it was because you just couldn't put him on because his offense was was dreadful. And he's going to go back, and no doubt you won't see many more performances like that. He'd be pretty annoyed with himself. Jordan Poole, 41 minutes. He had 21 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists, and a block, 8 of 20 shooting. So he had your most amount of shot attempts, 3 of 9 from 3, 3 turnovers. He was a minus 15 as well. It is feast or famine with Jordan Poole, as we know. I thought he was good, but then you have a few instances where you try to hit home runs and you miss. And instead you end up with a strikeout. Look at that. It's a bit of baseball terminology. That's probably the worst analogy you could have, but I don't follow baseball. Jordan Poole is so clever and he's a great addition to this team. Do not get me wrong. There was a possession, though, where he ran up, and he was nearly at the timeout line and launches a 3 with about 4 minutes to go, down by 4. It was one of those possessions that you were just like, you didn't have to do that. If you hit it, the place goes ballistic. But it wasn't a good shot. And that to me is one of those things that if you left that out and all of a sudden we got 2 points and then, we're coming back defending again, man, what could have been? But there's a number of, you can analyse every possession that we didn't score on. But I just didn't like that shot at the time. Does it lift the roof off? Absolutely. If you miss it, well, they go and score another 2 and you've got to battle again. Derek Queen off the bench, 34 minutes, 15 points, 6 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, 2 blocks, 6 of 11. Didn't hit his 3, but that's all right. Missed 1 free throw, 1 turnover, plus 5. Derek Queen, I would say, was our second best player behind Zion in terms of impact. They wanted to bring him out, and Zion looked to the bench, and they left him in and took Herb out. And Sadiq, I think, as well. You've got a rookie in his second game who had no preseason play like an absolute vet against Wemby, against Luke Cornett, professionals that have played in this league for a long time. I thought he was great. Can I say I see why we gave up the house for him in the draft? Not yet. But I can see the vision. There's a skip pass that he hit completely across the other side of the court. We ended up getting 2 points out of it. I see what they talk about when he's got that offensive hub. I won't knock Derek Queen tonight because I thought he was great. He defended. He scored. He looked aggressive. He was drawing players. He was standing in the dunker spot and finishing off. That's a great game. And I actually think, full preseason's fantastic, but when you have to, just do cardio for a whole off season and you're coming off, and that's your biggest knock is that you're probably not fit enough for the NBA. You come back in really, really good shape. You already know the basketball part. You can score. We soft touch, rebounding, positioning. That's all there. Between the years, it's fine. You're forced to work on your fitness, and it shows when you get to play 36 minutes in your second game. That's all we ask. Come out and contribute. Play your role. That's what he did. No issues. Well done, Derek Queen. Really good. Jordan Hawkins, 17 minutes, 7 points. He was plus 16, to be fair to him. When he was on, they were really good. He hit a 3, big dunk. He was, doing his thing, spacing the floor. Did what he could, right? 3 of 7 shooting. That's expected. He's a 3-point shooter. Missed a couple, hit a couple. Here's what it is. Wasn't bad. I thought Jeremiah Fears in 28 minutes, 13 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 steals, 5 of 8 shooting, missed his 3, missed 1 free throw, hit 3 others, plus 7, had 2 turnovers, but, he's your backup point guard at 19 years old, and he's carrying your offense. What we haven't seen a whole heap of in recent years, and it's not a knock on the players that we've had, is a true point guard that understands how to run a pick and roll. A true point guard that understands timing, understands changes of pace, and also knows when to go and get a bucket and when to create for others. his speed is something that we haven't really had in terms of controlled speed. Kira Lewis was fast. This guy is fast, but also crafty, and understands what he can do to disrupt defenses. And when you have a player like that, mind you, this is his second game, so let's keep the lid on it a little bit. You have the potential to be a fantastic player. And I think Jeremiah Fears is trending upwards. I don't know. I'm really, really high on Jeremiah Fears. Jose came in, got a tech, did nothing in 3 minutes. Got a standing ovation near on. The crowd went ballistic, and then got teched up for not having his shirt tucked in. I hate that rule. I think it's stupid. Jose will always play his role, but Jeremiah Fears and Jordan Hawkins getting priority minutes, I get it. It's hard to make an impact in 3 minutes for Jose. He'll stay ready. There will be opportunities for him. Love the guy. I don't know if you could currently play him ahead of Fears. I don't think you could. Didn't play Alexander Dickinson, Bryce McGowans, and Peavy. The other person who didn't play was DeAndre Jordan, who we've signed as a backup centre, probably a starting centre. He got down there today, went straight to practice, and joined the team after we waived Springer. All the best to him. We needed centre help. You went and got a veteran centre. He is now 10 years, I think he's 8 years older than our next oldest guy in Kevon Looney. You get a guy like that who has a relationship with Willie Green, who understands rebounding, positioning, has won at the highest level, is a great player, seems like a great character as well. I've always enjoyed all of his interviews. I think he's a cool guy. You get an adult in the room that also understands what the coach wants to do. You get a guy that understands playing his role, staying ready, and you get someone who's going to grab some rebounds and block some shots. So I can't really whinge about the signing there. We had $4.5 million under the luxury tax. I don't know how much they paid him, but he's there as a stopgap while Looney and Messi are out, and hopefully he stays on for the rest of the season. And we're going to see a bit of it. He's going to be able to work with guys like Messi and work with guys like Derek Queen. You add Kevon Looney in there, backed up by DeAndre Jordan. Gosh, 2015 called. Man, oh man, how good's this team? I don't know. But it is, it really is one of those situations that I think going and getting a veteran big man is a really good idea, and credit to the team going and getting that. So, key takeaways. Number one, Wemby is out of this world. You finish with a near-on triple-double with blocks. We still managed to put 116 points up. Zion still managed to get 27. Finding other ways to score against guys that you're physically outmatched by in terms of length is something that I really liked. Adjustments. I think the Pelicans adjusted really well. Their execution may not have been good, but I think adjustments were better. Key takeaway number two is we cannot keep affording these 3-4 minutes of no scoring. 14-0 runs. It is a game of runs. You can't let people go and score 14, 19. Those 4 or 5 minutes will cost you games. It is the difference between putting the foot down and going and winning games and putting the other team on the back foot and letting them get the momentum. You will continue to get caught in these arm wrestles and having to chase yourselves back into games and chase these teams if you do not execute. And it comes down to coaching and it comes down to player recognition. What you don't want to see when someone goes or a team goes on a 10-0, 12-0, 14, 19-0 run is the ball movement stopping. You need to continue to pass and move the ball. That is the point. Play your own offense. It's your defense that's letting you down. Play within your offense. Because it's got you this far. Yes, you're going to need a bit of isolation. You can't have 10 possessions of isolation while the team is burning you on the other end. Because you're going to get some, herky-jerky step back over your head type shot. And if you miss, well, they're off to the races again and getting 2 more. I don't mind coaches burning timeouts when the team isn't doing what you told them to do. I remember Greg Popovich burned one, 20 seconds into a game. I've seen Dagnall's done the same, 20 seconds, 40 seconds into the game. You didn't come out ready? We're having a timeout. And I'm going to give you a blast. You're going to wake up and you're going to do what we said. You're going to do what we practiced. That has to be the goal. You are the manager of the team. If they're not doing what you said, that's all I can hope is that, that you let these runs get out. Burn a timeout. No one is going to tell you that was a bad decision if it stops a 14-0 run or a 10-0 run getting to a 15-0 run, getting to a 20-0 run. It is okay to kill the other team's momentum. Don't wait until they're 10 points up for you to call one. If you're up by 8 and they get back, or you're up by 10 and they get back to down by 2, burn the timeout. You do not need to wait until the lead swaps and they're in charge. You do not need it to get to 20 points for you to call a timeout. It is okay to burn a timeout. Anyway, that is my gripe. Finally, Derek Queen and Jeremiah Fears were great picks. And I really like how they played. And I think there's some real talent there. And credit to the scouting, because you got some good players. Jeremiah Fears understands what is required of him. Derek Queen played like he's played a whole heap of games. Offensively, he's very advanced. He's got such a nice soft touch. He knows how to beat advantages. When he has a smaller man on him, I'm going at the basket. Or, bang, I've hit the guy out on the wing. Or, whoop, dish that one off. There's a layup. The offensive hub, I can see the gears spinning in his head, trying to pick advantages. And when you get players that can create advantages for others and for themselves, they'll be just fine. Fitness is one of those things. You'll play yourself into fitness. You will continue to learn your defensive schemes. If you can create an offense, there's a role for you in this league. With that being said, disappointing loss. Disappointing, but not unexpected. Probably more so disappointing because you actually had a chance to win. We're coming in, laughing, saying, Wemby's going to go after Wilt's record. If he did that to AD, what's he going to do to, any of our guys who are half the size? Credit to him. The scheme worked. Yeah, he played really well, but he wasn't the difference between win or lose. That was our poor execution. Would have been handy not to have him. But when the rubber hits the road in the overtime, he wasn't there. In the fourth quarter, he wasn't on. So it one of those ones that it would have been really nice to win. But I get it. And there's plenty to take away from this. Now, next game is the Boston Celtics. Jaylen Brown led Boston Celtics. Of course, no Jason Tatum while he comes back from his Achilles. What we need to see, starting fast, chasing them off the three-point line because they are going to absolutely barrage from three. They love it. But this is another team that is traded away a whole heap of key pieces from their championship team and from their, finals runs. This is one that you need to take all the learnings from the first two and really come out while you're at home and win the game. That's truly what I believe. Take advantage of this. It's an Eastern Conference team. It's a team that is, probably going to end up middle of the road purely because the East is bad, but they don't really want to be that good this year. They may surprisingly be good, but you have an opportunity to win. So, we're going to leave it at that. Thanks everyone for tuning in. If you feel so inclined, hit that subscribe button, hit the like and the thumbs up, leave a comment, anything else you want to see, anyone you want me to interview. I can put the word out. We'll get some people on here because we love the interviews as well. If you're listening on the audio only version, well, I appreciate you as well. Sometimes it's nice just to hear the dulcet Australian tones of Lyle Swithenbank. But anyway, this has been Flock, a New Orleans Pelicans podcast. I am your host, Lyle Swithenbank, at Lyle Swithenbank on Twitter, TikTok, and Blue Sky, and of course, at Lyle Pels on Instagram. Thank you once again for tuning in. Stay safe, and of course, bye for now.